Thank you, Matt. So, first of all, for all of you that are joining us, thank you so much. And thank you for dropping into the chat and just saying hello. As Matt said, if you guys are not driving and you have a phone, a tablet, Chromebook, iPad, any type of electronic device, and you want to join in today's fun activity, please do so by clicking on that Cami app link that Matt has shared. So, thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon. So, as Matt said, my name is Belsa. I've been working with Cami for a little close to 2 years now in January. Oh, thank you for our two new participants. The link is there for you guys. So, what we do over at Cami, if you are or will become part of our teacher success team, is we help teachers and administrators learn all the great things that Cami has to offer. So, one of the things that we love to share over at Cami is just a great way for teachers and administrators alike to be able to use Cami inside of your classroom, whether you're going to do this as a group, as we are going to do here today in a bit, or whether you want to use this individually. So I hope you have your best face and hair going on today, because in a little bit, you're going to be dropping in your best selfie. So today's activity was shared via chat, and it's so easy to do. When you have Cami and you have this ability, you are going to look for this share document icon. What's really cool is all I've done is I've shared this link with Matt and he's posted it on the chat. However, we also do have the ability, if you do have a tablet or your cell phone, I can just go ahead and put up this QR code. And once I put up this QR code, you're going to be able to scan it and it's going to take you straight into the activity. So when I tell you that we work with any device, we literally work with any device. And what's really cool is whether you're on your cell phone, your tablet, iPad, or Chromebook, Cami is going to look exactly the same. It just is going to vary in sizes. What's also really cool is if you've joined the activity, which some of you have already joined, you're going to notice that you probably don't have any of the tools. So you're telling me, like, girl, you want me to drop in a selfie, but you're not really giving me a camera. Do not worry. I'm about to do that in a bit. So, what I love is how easily I can look at who has joined. And I can do that at the bottom looking at our collaborative corner. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this +1, and I've got 4 people on here. I've got myself, and I've got Matt, and I've got Cherie. So thank you so much for joining in today's activity. So instead of being the teacher that's walking around, peering over student shoulders, checking cameras and computers, it's so easy to just click on that collaborative corner. Now, currently, you may have no tools available to you, and that was done on purpose. I do want you guys to focus a little bit more on collaborating and basically my introduction to this. So, in a bit, what I'm going to show you is how you can turn on and off these tools and how you are going to have access to our camera and you're going to be able to drop in your best selfie. So, going back to that share icon, I'm now going to look at control features. So having all these tools available is really great. But let's be honest, our kids can be rather distracted at times, and so can our adults. So you may not want them to have all the tools available when you're doing your initial teach. That is where control features kicks in. When I click on that, you'll notice that currently you have all your tools turned off. I'm about to make a change to that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on one of my select tools. And then, of course, I am going to turn on my camera eraser just in case. And then once I hit OK, what you're going to notice on your end is that camera popped up instantly. So those tools, you have total and complete control over them. And if you're doing this collaboratively, you have that control in real time. So now, if you're joining us and you want to join us, the link is found in the chat. But now, if you're already on this great document and you want to drop in your best selfie, you're going to notice that you have access to the Add Media tool. So I'm going to go ahead and grab it. Now, even within the Add Media, you're only going to have access to one tool, which is the camera, and you will only have the option for take a photo. So let's go ahead and get nice and tall here. They're going to camify my file, and there is my best selfie. Now, obviously, I do not want to take up all of the screen, so I'm going to go ahead and minimize myself all the way to the little corner, but it is that easy. And what I love about how everything integrates so smoothly. So I didn't take a picture, have to download it, save it, and then upload it back into my document. It was just as easy as add media, grab my camera, take my selfie, and put it right onto our vision board. So there we have the wonderful and amazing Matt. So funny story in Cami, accounts are being always switched around between different people, including the account for the Learning Technology Center. And when it was passed over to somebody new, they said, hey, are you okay with giving it up and letting somebody else do the webinars and work with Matt? And I was like, nope, I am not okay with that. I want to stay with the Learning Technology Center and I want to keep working with them. And Matt was actually really pivotal in that decision because ever since I met him, he's just an absolute gem to work with. And one of our other participants has dropped in a wonderful selfie. Thank you so much. And what's really cool is, so if you try to move pictures or delete them, what you're going to notice is you actually can't. So in a world of so many tech tools, one of the more common comments that we get is, oh, well, I can do that on a Jamboard or I can do that on a Google Doc. However, what you're going to notice, so here, my very beautiful Sherry, if you would try and move Matt's picture or even delete it, because you know what? You are just not liking Matt today for whatever reason. You're like, you know what? I'm just not into Star Wars. I'm more of a Trekkie. And I can see that argument happening. You may want to delete him and move him out. And what you're going to notice is you actually cannot. The only person that can move your comments, your pictures, is you yourself and no one else. Now, as a teacher, she's like, nope, I'm just going to slide right on top. As a teacher, there's a couple of things that I can do here. If I see that Miss Sherry's being a little too sassy, I can go ahead and delete, but I'm not because she is wonderful. But you as a teacher have that control. What I also do have the control is if I wanted to come over to my collaborative corner, I can go ahead and just mute or pause. Now, currently 2 things are in the works for Cami. So one of the things that I love sharing about Cami is you're always going to get something new because we're constantly updating. So 2 updates that we're trying to make here, not me because I just don't have the talents for it, but our wonderful engineering team is to have more than the ability to delete. Thank you, Miss Rebecca, for joining us. So not only will the teacher have the ability to delete, but the teacher will also have the ability to move. Because sometimes if we're doing like a compare and contrast or we're doing a Venn diagram, the teacher might want to be able to move comments or pictures so that everybody's is visible. So currently we do have the delete option, but we are looking at improving into Cami. So if you buy Cami this year, Cami next year is going to be new, updated, and upgraded. So thank you, Ms. Rebecca, for joining us. So what's really cool about the collaborative corner is sometimes you want to know a little bit more than who's collaborating. Because of our best selfies here, I can already see who's collaborating. But I think more important to teachers is you want to know what they're doing, which makes perfect sense. So from our collaborative corner, I'm going to go ahead and shoot straight diagonally up to the left. So right here next to the word Cami, you're going to see a toggle sidebar. When I click on that toggle sidebar, I get a pop-up, okay? And the first thing that I see are my thumbnails. So this is good information, right? But we want to know, what are you doing? Are you doing your work? So if you look at the fourth option, which looks like a thought bubble, you are going to look at what we like to call the annotation summary. This is the history of the document. Now, if your Cami account is designated as student, you don't have this option. You don't get to see the history. Only the teacher accounts do, because we want to be able to see, okay, who's working on what are y'all doing? Are we working or not, right? So we have that annotation summary. So we've got our collaborative corner, which is who is on this document with us. Thank you so much to all of you that are joining us. Now we have a new participant, Miss Erin. So Erin, if you want to drop in your selfie, we would greatly appreciate it. And we can also see the history of our document. So thank you so much, guys, for joining, for participating. And I will say this, everybody looks beautiful this afternoon. Absolutely wonderful. Now, you were given one tool and you were given your camera and you took your selfie. But honestly, Cami is so much more than that. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to our second activity. So it is Tuesday, I believe. Hopefully, I'm not incorrect on that. And we always at Cami like to look at the good things in life. It's so easy to take that deep dive down the rabbit hole of negativity. But every now and then, I love to remind our participants that there are good things out there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch over our tools. So I'm going to leave the camera on, but I'm going to give you guys a couple of more options. I'm going to go ahead and come back into my tools. So share icon document or share icon. Control features. I'm going to leave the select tool. I will now give you guys our comments tools and our text box. I'm also going to give you our Google image search, which, by the way, has a safe search filter. So you don't have to worry about things that shouldn't pop up. All right. And then always, whenever you make any changes to your tools, remember to scroll all the way down and hit OK. So I've got my OK. And now you should have a couple of more tools. So we do have a comment before I move on. Should I be seeing all other pictures and comments that others have posted? You should. You should be seeing everybody's comments, everybody's pictures. If you don't, please let me know so I can try to see what's going on. Now, one of the simplest fixes to everything is clicking on refresh. Sometimes it's just a matter of the page not catching up with us. So go ahead and click refresh and hopefully we all pop up on there. I see from a previous training. Okay. I'll go ahead and share. See, this is what I love about this. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this one right here. Okay, and then I've got Jennifer having a little bit of trouble loading. Jennifer, can you give me a little bit more information on what the actual trouble is? Are you getting the blue little circle where we are just not logging in whatsoever? If you could give me just a little bit more information, I would love to help you with that. So while Jennifer gives me a little bit more information, I'll go ahead and I've opened up a couple of more tools for you. And these tools are going to allow you to now add to our something positive, right? So grab either a comment tool, your text box, your add media, Google image search, and just tell me something positive that's going on in your life. whether that's you stopping at the Chick-fil-A before you head home, picking up a Starbucks or a Dunkies, or just being the end of the day and you have kicked off your shoes. So grab one of your tools. I'm going to give everybody about 1 or 2 minutes and then we will continue. And again, the chat is open if you guys want to chat with us or if you have questions, thoughts, or comments. So we'll give everybody about a minute to just drop in your positivity. I love it. I got to work with Bella. Oh, then you know what? I'm going to go ahead and return it and say, my positive thought of the day is I got to work with Matt. And I found out he is a brand new grandfather. So if you guys do not know that, he is. It says, I'm clicking on the link, but it's continuing to buffer. Oh, yeah. We have that sometimes. So several things can be going on. One is the internet might be slowing down or lagging, or trying to think what else could have gone wrong. That's about the only one I can think of. Yeah. So if it's still buffering, just go ahead and close it out completely. Try not to leave us from our link here. And try logging back in. Okay, my screen is showing a partial page of other collaborations. Okay, this is, so sometimes we may end up, so in Sherry's comment, what may have happened is I might have shared the wrong link and I might have shared a link from a previous one. But I'm going to go ahead and share this link. So Sherry, if you want to jump on this one, hopefully that'll bring you back to us. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, you're also seeing previous. That is so interesting. How interesting. Then that is a glitch on our end because you actually should not be seeing others, just ours with the new link. Glitch on our end. You know what? But that's good because we will let the engineers know and hopefully they can fix it. That is so interesting. The rain has stopped. Well, as Matt mentioned earlier, I live in the state of Texas and I'm way deep down south in Texas. So we have not had rain in a good while. So any rain that you beautiful people from Illinois want to send our way, I will gladly take it. Okay. So again, thank you so much for adding your annotations. And I'm so sorry that you're seeing other collaborators' annotations because you really should only be seeing ours. We do love our tech people. I absolutely love working with the people in Illinois. I was so sad that we weren't going to IETC this year. I loved it last year. Absolutely loved it. But yeah, we'll go ahead and continue on. The clouds were beautiful on the way home. Love it. So again, you as the teacher will always have complete and total control over these tools. Now I'm going to show you a really cool feature that kind of gets overlooked, and I understand why, because it's kind of hidden off inside of our menu. So I was talking to Matt earlier and I was like, do you know if your teachers are Google Classroom teachers, Schoology, or Canvas? And he said that a good portion were Google Classroom, which I absolutely love because we have inside of Cami a great and easy way to share this straight into your classroom. Because what I did here is I started straight from Cami. I created this using templates from our library, which you guys will get to explore in a bit. But mostly what I would have to do then is if I wanted to share this with my Google Classroom, I would share the document, copy the link, and then move on to Google Classroom. We have now made it a little bit easier. So if you are a Google for Education school and you do use Google Classroom and you've created a great Kami document that you are just ready to share, we have made that super simple by going into our menu. So our menu can be found on the top right hand corner. It's 3 vertical lines. When you click on it, there's so many other things that are super cool in Kami, which I will get to. But one of them is that 5th option that has a G next to it. So if you look at this option, it says create an assignment. So you've created a great Kami document that you are ready to just assign. You hit on that menu, you go to create assignment, and we can just title this LTC starter. And because your account is already linked to your Google Classroom, you can select your class, you can select your students, and then just go ahead and hit assign, and you are ready to go. So you have that very easy, seamless integration with Google Classroom found inside of our menu. Something else that is found inside our menu, which we're trying to move out of our menu and post it in our tools, is presentation mode. So if you've ever used presentation mode in Google Slides, what you notice is it basically takes up all the screen. We have almost the exact same thing inside of our menu, and you go about kind of all the way down and you go onto presentation mode. Once you do that, you basically widen out your screen. You have the ability to move between the pages, right? But you also, within this area, have the ability to have those Kami tools. Now, you don't have access to all of them. We are working on that. But you do have access to a laser pointer in case you wanted to point out to something specifically. If you were doing this in the front of the classroom and you want to write something out, you have access to that drawing tool. And I'm going to try to do a heart here. Failed miserably at it, but I tried. I have my eraser tool. And of course, I can always just hit escape and it takes me right out of presentation mode. So again, 2 things that are found in our menu that really should have their own little showcase is being able to assign this straight into Google Classroom and being able to go straight into presentation mode, right? So again, if at any time you guys have any questions, thoughts, or ideas, please feel free to drop them into the chat. I'm always happy to answer any questions. Over at Kami, one of the things that we very much pride ourselves on is that our professional learning sessions are interactive, and it's all about what the teacher needs and what the teacher wants. Okay. So staying on the topic of Google Classroom, I do want to show you 2 new things that are now new and inside of Google Classroom, Schoology, or Canvas. So if you have any of these LMSs, all of this is available to you. So I'm going to jump over to my teacher account. And I have here my very wonderfully organized Google Classroom. So if you are a Kami user, one of the things that you always want to make sure that you have is that Kami extension. And there's a very good reason for that. You are going to be able to create Kami assignments. So very much the same way that I showed you guys while using Kami, you can do that inside of Google Classroom, Schoology, and Canvas. Some of the new features that you're going to notice is when you hit that create and you've added your extension, your second option now will be creating that Kami assignment. Now, if you're wondering, okay, why would I want to create a Kami assignment? That's where I'm going to jump to next. So all of these that you see on here are my Kami assignments. The first thing that I do want to point out is the fact that I can make changes to my Kami assignments publish those changes and they will get published in real time. So earlier today, I created my social studies notebook, but we are now day 2 and I want to add to my social studies notebook, but I don't want to create a new one because who wants to be recreating an assignment every single day, right? So whatever changes I want to make, I'm going to go ahead and click on that PDF. On my top right-hand corner, I now have 2 options, update work and open with Cami. I'm going to click on update work. It's going to open my file, and my file or my notebook already has changes to it. So on my first page, I gave my kids the assignment, which was homework for today, and it was to read chapter 1. So now we're on day 2, and the assignment, they now have their instructions via a voice comment. They read chapter 1 and they have to summarize what it is. So now we are on day 3, and I'm about to give them a YouTube video that goes and ties in with our lesson. So if we were learning about World War I and I want my students to see what's going on, I can very easily go to Add Media, and you're going to notice that third from the bottom is our YouTube link. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and it's going to say, hey, where's your video? I'll go ahead and go to YouTube, and I will look for my World War I video. Now, as a teacher, when I taught, it was my greatest fear to always go to YouTube because you have no clue what's going to pop up. You have no clue what type of videos you're going to get. So, what I loved about it is, so here's one that's going to be explained in 5 minutes. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and grab this one. But a lot of the times you get a commercial or a pop up. And so we don't want that. So, what I'm going to do is once I have the video, I'm going to look for the share button. I'm going to go ahead and click on that share button, and I'm going to go ahead and copy my link. Once I copy my link, I'm going to go ahead and add it onto Cami. I'm going to copy it on there. Brand new is the ability to trim these videos, but I don't need to trim it. It's only a short 5-minute video. And I'm going to go ahead and drop it into my students' notebooks. Now, when my students hit play, that video plays straight from their TV. It does not take them into YouTube. They can go ahead and go full screen. They also have access to the captions that YouTube provides. I've now added the assignment for day 3, and I'm ready to push this out. I'm going to go ahead and come up to my top right-hand corner and hit on Publish Changes. It says, hey, this is going to be applied to all student copies. I say, great. I go ahead and hit Publish. So anybody with my social studies notebook will now have this video. So it doesn't matter that the assignment was already created. I made a change to that assignment, and now that change is visible to everybody. So this is called Publish Changes. It's found inside all 3 of our LMSs, Teams included, by the way, and it works as many times as you need to make changes. So every time you need to make a change, you will open up the assignment, click on that PDF, update your work. So there's page 3. So now we can go on to page 4. We can add a text box. And if you don't feel like typing, don't worry, you actually don't have to. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Actually, a lot bigger. If you look at the far right-hand corner, we have a microphone. When this microphone is turned on, it will start transcribing. For today's assignment, you will be describing the 2 sides that fought in World War I. So I've finished my transcription. I have my instructions. Grammarly has told me I need a comma, so I'll add that comma. Grammarly has saved me so many times. And I've made another change, so I need to publish it one more time. And now everybody has access to those new changes. Okay, no worry, Rebecca. Please also know that I am going to put my email in the chat. If you ever do want a personalized Cami training, they are completely free and you can ask for as many as you want. Just shoot me an email and I'm more than glad to help you with that. But thank you so much for joining us today. So, yeah. So you are able to publish those changes and you are able to make those changes as many times as you like. So, the other thing that you have available to you inside of Google Classroom, Schoology, and Canvas is the ability for something called Class View. So, I'm going to go ahead and go into one of our math assignments. So, I'm going to go ahead and review my work. Right. So what this has done is it's taking straight into grading. So it used to be that you would grade one at a time, which really isn't very efficient, right? So a lot of us would just look at this, grab the first student and keep on going, right? But what you're going to notice now is that you have something called class view. So I'm going to go ahead and click on class view. And what this is going to do is it's going to take all of my students' work. It's going to compile them and put them onto my Cami platform. And I'm going to be able to see all of my students' work. And so here I have multiple students. So I'm going to be able to scroll to the right or to the left. So we have quite a few students here. And I'm also going to be able to have all my Cami tools so that I can give feedback to each of my students. So if I see that here, Amelia has not done Tuesday's work, I'm going to go ahead and delete this comment here. I can go ahead and grab one of my comments. I can drop in a voice comment and I can say, "Hi, Amelia. I'm going to go ahead and leave your assignment ungraded. Please make sure that you go back and check the second page for Tuesday." And that's going to be there for Amelia when I'm grading. If I wanted to grade Alexander's work, I can go ahead and do that. I can give him 25 out of 30, and he will have that grade available to him. What you can also do, aside from grading and returning assignments, if your students are currently working on this assignment, you can come into class view and you have real-time monitoring. So not only can you grade, but if your students are currently working on this assignment, I can go ahead and drop in those comments in real time and my students are able to see them and they'll be able to continue working. So two things happen in class view. One is that grading and two is real-time interaction between teachers and students. So these are both brand new to Google Classroom. They're also found inside of our Canvas, which is in SpeedGrader. So does Schoology. Schoology also has it with that real-time monitoring, and you also have the ability to edit templates in all three of them as well. So maybe if you weren't a Google Classroom school, do not feel like you're missing out. Cami has done it for all of them, and we are currently working for it for teams. All right. So do you guys have any questions in reference to the new changes that are found inside of Google Classroom, which are published changes and class view? So again, if at any time you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. So if you would join me back in our starter activity, because down at the bottom, you're going to notice that we do have a couple of more activities that you can work on. And some of the things, like I said, the text box, which is honestly a great tool. One of the things that does get overlooked quite a bit is the fact that we do have voice typing. Now, in the state of Illinois, you probably have bilingual learners just the same way we do in the state of Texas. And some of the things that we've done for our bilingual, multilingual learners is the ability to have voice typing in more than one language. Because we know that our students, especially at the upper levels, they may want to practice or take French or German or Dutch or even Spanish. And using voice typing is a great way to practice because they're literally going to be able to see what they're saying. So if you wanted to use voice typing in a different language, again, we're going to go into our settings, which are found by our initials. And it's kind of down at the bottom. Somebody was already using our voice typing. Love it. If you scroll down to about halfway, you're going to see an option called speech to text language. So we have quite a few, and we will be adding. Don't worry if you don't see your language. We hope to keep adding. I'm going to go to Español México, and I'm going to come back into our starter activity. Always remember that when you do make changes in your settings, you do want to hit refresh, right? We want to make sure that those changes are available in our new activity. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my text box. Now, when I do start speaking in Spanish, it'll actually start typing it in Spanish. Hola, buenas tardes. Para mí es un placer estar con ustedes esta tarde mostrándole todo lo que tenemos para ofrecer en Cami. So here is my wonderfully spoken Spanish voice to text. And again, this can be done in a number of different languages. So if you have multilingual, bilingual learners, where did I change the language? I'm going to take you right there in a minute. So you can do this for each of our, you can do this for your multilingual, bilingual learners or for your foreign language department. So how did I get to change my language? Let me take you there. The first thing you want to do is look for your settings. Okay. So I'm going to come up to my initials. So very top right-hand corner, you're going to have your initials. The third from the bottom option is settings. Here is our lovely settings page. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see that. Here is where if accidentally you created a student license for yourself, you can change that out. Your profile, you can change that as well. Whether you get emails and whatnot, you can change that. But if you keep on going, you have several options. So under language, this means that you're going to change this setting. So for example, if I were to click Español, and then I come back into Cami and refresh, Cami is now in Español for all your bilingual, multilingual students. I'm going to go ahead and put this back in English. The second option is that speech to text language. So Sherry, this is where you want to be able to switch it. So we've got a couple from Afrikaans to some down there at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and put this back in English. Remember, anytime that you make changes to your settings, when you come back into your activity, please make sure you hit refresh. All right, let me go ahead and minimize my screen so you guys can see it a little bit better. So you are so welcome, my love. So yep, that is under settings. And again, this works, our voice typing works in multiple languages. But remember, you may have those students that are going to require this as part of an accommodation, as part of that little extra help that they need. So true story, as a teacher, very much like me, I'm more than sure you have amazing stories to tell. A couple years back, we had a wonderful student who was just very, very active. Unfortunately, he lived in a 2-story home and he took a tumble. And so he broke his arm. And it happened to be his writing arm. So transcribing was great. He was able to use his non-writing arm to turn on the microphone. One day, for whatever reason, he decides to hop the baseball fence, falls on the non-writing arm, and breaks that one as well. So you never know when transcribing is going to come into very much of a need, but we do have it there for you guys. Again, within our comments tools, one that does get overlooked quite a bit is our screen capture. So everybody, for the most part, has probably heard of Screencastify, Screenomatic, and they are absolutely great. My one issue with Screencastify was if I wanted to do it on the fly, the one thing I would always forget was to change the setting. Screencastify will save it and it's private only for you. And so if you share that link and somebody else gets it, they can't see it. We don't have that problem. So I'm going to go ahead and create my little screen capture here. I'm going to go ahead and share my entire screen as always. And I have my camera on, more visibility for your students. Somehow if they see you, they just feel like that presence. And I'm going to explain, all right, today we're going to grab one of our media tools and using your Google image search, tell me something, show me something that you cannot teach without. I don't think I could teach without a computer, even if I tried. So I never had one of these, but I did have the original large floppy disks. And so I can drop in my image there. I have 20 minutes to explain to my students what is it exactly that I need them to do. And this is what I mean when we don't have the problem of sharing links. That screencast stays right on my page. It's not clunking up the assignment, it's off to the side where the students can continue to work. However, they are able to see that video of me explaining what assignment they need to work on, which tools they're going to use, and what I need them to do. So this comment feature is absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and open all of these tools for you, including that screen capture tool. And you can take this page right here that you see up on your screen. Let me go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. And you should try out your Cami skills. If you have a touch screen, go ahead and try out our drawing tool. You'll find it absolutely amazing. You can try to create a brand new comment, whether you are using a voice, video, or screen capture. Even throw in a text comment if you like. If you want to try out that voice typing, by all means, go right ahead. If you wanted to try our dictionary, we have a little passage down here where you can try out our dictionary, which is also multilingual. I did forget to mention that. And it also does have that read out loud feature. And if you do want to try out that read out loud feature, I do want to point a couple of things out. So just like all of our amazing tools, you'll always have that menu off to the side. And second, from the bottom up, you're going to notice something that says change voice. This is basically changing the language that you're hearing. So my document is in English. So I'm going to go ahead and type in English here. And I have several options when it comes to reading in English. I'll stick to the traditional Google one. But if you notice down at the bottom, besides being able to change your options when it comes to who is reading to you, because it could be grandma, grandpa. So on your Chromebook, this will look a little different because the voice pack is different per device. I'm currently on a MacBook, but we do have different languages from, I believe it was Arabic all the way to Zulu. So we do have quite a few. And you can change out the speed and pitch. And remember, when you do turn on and off those tools, you can turn off the ability for your students to move this around. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save and now read. So we have that there for your students. And this is from The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman, but you can take any document and it will read it for your students. Okay. So go ahead and try this out. And again, if you have a document that is a different language, so I might have a Spanish one ready to go. This is a book titled Refugiado. You can find the Spanish and English version. And what you're going to see is when you go to that change voice, I'm going to come to my read out loud. Now, instead of going with US English, I'm going to go with Spanish. And now I'm going to come to the story itself. And we start. So it's actually reading it in that proper Spanish. It's not somebody, for example, in English trying to read Spanish, which sounds a little choppy if I do say so myself. So that's what most of them would normally sound like because it's somebody in English trying to read Spanish, but you can actually change it. And like I said, with this voice pack, we have so many different languages. So now that you have all the tools available to you, please feel free and just have a go at this document. Keep on adding selfies, keep on adding positive things, try out the different comments. And then again, the comments are available for you if you have any questions, thoughts, or ideas. And I'll give you guys we're about 9 minutes shy of 4:30. So I do want to give you a little bit more time for like a Q&A or just any thoughts that you guys may have. Now, earlier I did post my email. If you don't have Cami but are super interested in trying it out, Wahariti, I'll finish my thought in a little bit. So Sherry's asking me, question, Sherry, is that one of the dialects from India or is it one of the main languages? Would you happen to know? I can just look in my read out loud. Let me type it in. Yeah, it's probably one of the dialects. So that's where we are missing out is in those least common languages. So for example, while in Mexico, Spanish is the main language, there are several dialects like Nayarit and Quechua that we don't have them for. But the other thing that I can tell you is we work really well with Google Translate. So if you look over at Google Translate, okay, we're done. Okay, perfect. So if you look over at Google Translate and you type in, for example, the word draw, when you hit translate, what you might find is under their languages, you might find that one, and there it is. So that's another way that we do this. Now, because this isn't one of the common languages for Cami, since I have it there, once what you can do is hit translate this page using that. And instead of translate it to English, you can look again for that Indian language. And it has translated absolutely everything on the document. Awesome. I'm so glad that you guys use it. So while we get more languages embedded into Cami, that is the workaround that we show our teachers because we don't want that to be a hindrance for you guys not using it. Yeah, so it really is cool. And if she does type in her native language, know that you can always translate it back into English. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I love it. So yeah, try it out. And if you need help, as I said, my email is readily available to you guys. And you guys can email me and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Awesome. So Jennifer's saying that they use it for their Japanese students, which is absolutely great. Yeah. So Japanese is actually one of the more common ones. And we are looking at adding that to both our changing the UI experience, the way you guys saw it in Spanish, adding it to our dictionary, adding it to our text to speech language. So yeah, I love it. And being that I was on the border, we worked so much with bilingual students. So all of these tips and tricks, I have them ready for you guys whenever you need them because we did it so much in my district. So yeah, I am so grateful being bilingual. I loved it. So yeah, anything you guys need when it comes to bilingual, multilingual, always happy to help. And remember, even if your student is not able to type or they're not able to communicate with you, you can always give them the option for voice typing, for a video comment, even allow them to create that screen capture for you so that they can explain their assignment, even if it's just them showing you their work and maybe not saying anything. So not only do we have it here available, but I don't know if you guys noticed under the camera for Ad Media, you can actually allow your students to record a video. And what's really cool is once your students start recording, they're going to show you whether it's they're reading their new book. So this is my new book that I just got like last week or whatever it may be. And then once they finish, they can just drop in that video and you will have that available to you to see, to grade for you and your students. So it's giving students accessibility, it's giving students voice and choice, so many different things that they can do inside of Kami. So again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop my email in the chat for you. Please feel free to use it. Anything that you guys would need, whether you want to try out Kami for the very first time, I'm glad to send you over a free trial for, let's see, we're September. You could get the rest of the semester and probably the next one as well. If you already have Kami and you're like, hey, we need you for some PD, by all means, email me and I'm glad to set that up for you. Anything, I'm always happy to help out the teachers that work with the amazing Matt at the Learning Technology Center.
Well, thanks so much, Belsa. We appreciate you. Folks, keep those comments going if you have any questions at all. Belsa has dropped her email address into the chat. Belsa, I won't share that
No worries.
widely on the YouTubes, but if you are looking for a replay of this webinar, the webinar will be posted on YouTube. Those of you joining live through Streamyard will get a direct link to view this along with all of the fun chat comments and whatnot shortly after we are done here today. Are there any other questions out there that we can answer for anyone?
And I do want to say, so a lot of the times when we do these webinars, of course, we're trying to jam pack them with everything, but know that when we get to your personalized professional learning, we tailor it to your school, your district. And sometimes we get to cover only 3 tools, and that's basically as much as teachers can digest at a time. So don't think I'm going to try to jam pack everything.
Well, and Belsa, I think we have reserved some time for another Cami update in the springtime
Yes.
through a webinar. So we'll be looking forward to that as
Hopefully it's
well.
before you retire. I need to get it in before.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, seeing no other items there in the comments, I'd like to thank everyone so much uh, for staying with us. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Belsa or to myself, and we'll put you in touch with uh, uh, hopefully the answers that you're looking for.
Yeah,
Belsa,
definitely.
thank you again for another wonderful and informative webinar.
Oh, thank you, Matt, for having me.
And folks, we will see you again soon.
Bye, guys. It was so great being with you guys this afternoon again. If you got my email, feel free to drop in.
Great. Belsa, stick around for just a minute.
Of
And
course.
for the rest of you, enjoy your afternoon.